what we see is many of our members are not hitting their targets, primarily because many of the targets are unrealistic. But the question I'm continually being asked is the teams that are actually winning in the region, what are they focusing on? There's three areas. One is focusing on teams, another is around balance across your operations, and the third is around efficiency. So the teams that are winning are focusing on local teams in the market. The regional CEO is making sure that the commercial teams are actually invested in. They're investing in training, and particularly around selling, because we understand that demand is going to be soft and there's price pressures. So the training is around selling value and making sure there's customer experience. Another aspect, one of our members actually invested significantly in negotiation skills for the commercial teams, understanding again because of those price pressures. Another member has successfully invested in local teams to make sure they're able to identify risks, and they plan in advance to have contingency plans in place if they realize actually we're going to face weaker demand in the next quarter or so. Another important area is around the idea of having balance across revenue streams, so you're invested across different revenue streams, but also across the region in the Middle East. So you make sure that your investments are not only in oil exporters and not only in oil importers, because, for example, if there's an unlikely event of a complete oil collapse, that means then you can divert your resources and attention to the oil importers. And equally and vice versa, if there is, say, for example, emerging market contagion from somewhere like Turkey, and that spills over into areas like Egypt or Tunisia or Lebanon, then you can divert these attention and resources into the oil exporters. Now, the last area that CEOs that are succeeding on is really around this idea of having efficiency in the business. Yes, this means cost, but not only cost. So it's important. One of our members cut costs, but actually ramped up growth initiatives. And what he said was, I didn't cut anything that was going to help us grow in the medium term. So they ramped up marketing, they made sure it was very targeted, very clever, very concise into the market that they wanted to actually address. And then in addition to that, what they also wanted to do was make sure that the suppliers, the channel partners, distributors, whoever it is that they're working with, make sure that they go to them, and when there is a little bit of a squeeze, that they do it with empathy, that they actually rescue or make sure to protect these relationships for the future. And most importantly, many companies across the Middle East are experiencing very high DSOs, so high receivables rates. They're finding it difficult to get paid. So the companies who are really focused on making sure they select the right clients, make sure they have the right contract agreements, the right letters of credit, etc., and even down to the fact of who they have chasing these payments. So across the Middle East, due to globalization and global labor markets washing up onto the shores of the Middle East, it can be in some organizations, because of labor practices, you have a cluster of a particular nationality in a certain department. And what companies are doing is making sure that people who are chasing these payments have a rapport and can perhaps speak the language of the people in the accounts department. All of these little areas will help companies succeed further into the next quarter and beyond.